In 1969, a computer with less memory than this sentence was responsible for getting humans to the moon. But today, my phone is literally millions of times more powerful. And after learning about the Apollo guidance computer, I had a crazy thought. Could the Apollo guidance computer, or AGC for short, run Minecraft? Now the obvious answer is absolutely not, like there's not a chance in the world, right? But then I had another thought. How many moon landing computers would you actually need to play Minecraft? Technology has come a long way in 60 years, but has it really come that far? Well, the only way to find out is to see what made the AGC chug. What was it? How did it work? And what would it actually take to bridge that astronomical gap and play Minecraft?
4, ignition, 2, 1, lift off.
That iconic moment in 1969 wasn't just a triumph of human courage. It was a victory for a computer smaller than a suitcase. See, the Apollo guidance computer was a revolutionary device for its time. The very first computer to use integrated circuits in space. Now, to be fair, anything that went to space in the 60s was pretty much the first thing that went to space. But still, this technology would eventually go on to transform our world. Now, fast forward to today, and over 1 billion people have played Minecraft. And at first glance, it's easy to assume that this simple block-based game isn't very hardware heavy. But even one of the very first versions, Minecraft Classic, still requires some pretty decent specs to play. We're talking minimum specs of 256 megabytes of RAM, an Intel Pentium 4 processor, which was the first CPU I ever had, and a dedicated graphics card with OpenGL support. So it's safe to say the AGC did not have the minimum required specs to play Minecraft. But surely it wasn't that far behind, right? Well, let's put this into perspective. See, if my AirPods physically represented the 4 kilobytes of memory on the AGC, then Minecraft's minimum requirements would be the size of the Burj Khalifa, the tallest freaking building on the planet. 64,000 times larger than my AirPods. And that's when I realized that this wasn't just about whether Minecraft could run on some old computer. This is about trying to get my brain to understand the massive technological leap that's been made in a single human lifetime. But to appreciate this comparison, you need to understand what the Apollo guidance computer actually was. See, this wasn't just some primitive calculator. This was a machine that had to perform complex navigation calculations in real time. Say that a few times, gosh. It was the brain of the Apollo spacecraft, handling everything from engine burns to orientation in space to landing calculations. And it had to do this while being reliable enough to trust with human lives in an environment where a blue screen of death means actual death. Yeah, seriously, no pressure. This insane bit of tech was crucial for keeping astronauts alive and healthy. But when I think about health tech, I usually think about those crazy gym machines that let you do steps and play Angry Birds at the same time. What is that? What is that about? And as I've become a great man of health, as you can see, I'm starting to realize that true health is more of a mental game. And you know what crushes my mental game the most? Emails. Emails, baby. Every morning I would wake up, check my emails, and just be bombarded. Promo offers, random notifications, endless noise. And in all seriousness, that low-level stress and noise was starting to cook me before I even made it to breakfast. So I needed a way to fix it. And that's when I started to use Notion Mail, a brand new tool from Notion, which has been one of my favorite apps for years. Now, Notion Mail isn't just another inbox. It's an inbox that organizes itself. It's super simple to use. When you sign up, the first thing it does is sort your emails automatically, keeping the stuff you actually need up top and moving the junk out of the way. Plus, it's super easy to split your inbox into custom views. For me, I have one for my priority work and another one called Later, where I can just put stuff that I can deal with later, like emails from my mum. I'm totally kidding. Make sure you always reply to your mum. But it also goes way deeper than that. Notion Mail helps me reply way faster. Common responses I would type over and over, well, now they're saved as a one-click snippet. Smooth. And even when I'm stuck on what to say and I'm trying to get my head around the best way to reply to something, Notion's AI can help me draft, rewrite, and clean up my emails. See, now you have no excuse not to reply to your mum. Always reply to your mum. Always. I've been using Notion's calendar app for a hot minute, so the fact that you can just schedule and create meeting links inside of Notion Mail is just because every minute I spend not stuck in my emails is a chance to read more, or to make more videos, or to hang out with my family more. All stuff that I'm trying to do way more. So if you're looking for a way to get rid of the weight of the emails on your shoulders, check out Notion Mail. Connect your Gmail account to Notion Mail by scanning the QR code on the screen or checking out the link in my description. It's super simple to set up because, and I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but health isn't just about hitting the gym or eating right, it's about looking after your headspace. And for me, using Notion Mail gave me some headspace back. Quick fun fact, when I first started this channel 5 years ago, Notion was one of those companies that I dreamed about working with. So this is a full circle moment to me. So thank you again, Notion. Now let's get a little up close and personal with the AGC. See, this thing weighed 70 pounds, about 32 kilograms, about the same as 10 modern gaming consoles stacked together, and it generated enough heat to cook an egg. The AGC ran at 1.024 megahertz, just over 1 megahertz. For comparison, your phone probably runs around 2.5 gigahertz. That's 2,500 times faster just in raw clock speed. The AGC could perform about 43,000 instructions per second, which at first sounds pretty impressive until you learn that a basic gaming PC does billions. With a B, billions. The AGC was built with about 5,600 integrated circuits, each containing just a few transistors. Modern processors have billions of transistors on a single chip. But the AGC also had 72 kilobytes of ROM, read-only memory, that contained the mission-critical software. And this is where things get kind of even more wild, if it wasn't crazy enough. See, Margaret Hamilton led the team that programmed the AGC. Hamilton coined the term software engineering, inventing the discipline to make the AGC work. Her team wrote approximately 45,000 lines of code by hand. And today, Minecraft has over 600,000 lines of code. And the most incredible part, the AGC software was literally hand woven. Women physically threaded wires through magnetic cores to store the program. Each program took about 8 weeks to weave and cost 15,000 back then. That's around 130,000 USD in today's money. Now, of course, the astronauts needed a way to interact with the AGC. And they did this with the display and keyboard, the disk key. Instead of a mouse and a keyboard, they had a calculator-style numeric pad and some warning lights. Again, no touchscreen, no voice commands, not even a full keyboard, just numbers and a few function keys. To perform an action, they'd enter codes like verb 37 or noun 01, a bit like entering cheat codes, right? What was that cheat code from Sims? Rosebud, that's the one I'm thinking about. Entering this in would have been just like that, entering in a cheat code, except the cheat code was don't die in space. Verb 16, noun 20 would display your velocity. Verb 37, noun 1 would start the program for a major burn. Pilots had to memorize dozens of these codes. Now, when the AGC needed an astronaut's attention, it would flash the prog light on the disk key. No audio warnings, no pop-up notifications, just a blinking light saying, hey, I need you to check something. And yet, astronauts landed on the freaking moon using this interface. Outrageous. Just outrageous. So, we've established that one AGC cannot run Minecraft, obviously. But what if we could network a bunch of them together? How many would we need to be able to play Minecraft? Let's do some ridiculous math. Okay, so for the processing power alone, you would need 1,500 to 2,000 AGCs to match the Pentium 4 processor. Each AGC would handle like a tiny slice of Minecraft. For the memory, you would need exactly 65,536 AGCs, all networked together to have enough RAM to start Minecraft. And theoretically, for the graphics processing, and we're being a bit generous here, you would need 5,000 more AGCs to simulate a basic graphic card that can run Minecraft. So in total, you would need over 72,000 Apollo guidance computers connected together just to run Minecraft Classic. Not even the latest version of Minecraft. That's about 5 million pounds or 2,260,000 kilograms of computer hardware. About the weight of 12 fully loaded Boeing 747 aeroplanes. Or 22 statues of Liberty, all stacked together just to punch your first tree in Minecraft. Actually building this setup would cost billions of dollars and require its own power plant. One AGC would consume 55 watts, so 72,000 of them would require 4 megawatts of power, enough to power a small town of 3,000 homes. All of this just so you can play a version of Minecraft from over a decade ago. So of course, our grand experiment fails. The AGC absolutely cannot run Minecraft, not even with ridiculous workarounds, but we knew that. What I think I didn't realize was how freaking big the gap was. It's literally almost infinite, but maybe that's exactly the point. Maybe this ridiculous comparison actually tells us something pretty nuts. It says something crazy about human progress, that technology we use for entertainment today dwarfs what we once used for these great achievements. But computing power that represented the absolute pinnacle of human engineering is now laughably inadequate for even the simplest modern applications. The Apollo guidance computer represents doing the maximum possible with minimal resources. If a program could be written in 100 lines instead of 101, they found a way to do it. Lives literally depended on it. The Apollo guidance computer was the cutting edge of what was possible in the 1960s, and many of the engineers who built it are still alive today. Margaret Hamilton, who looked after the software engineering, is 87 years old, and she's lived to see computers evolve from room-sized machines to devices billions of times more powerful that fit in our pockets. In that same lifetime, we've gone from calculating trajectories to the moon with 4 kilobytes of RAM to building entire virtual worlds with billions of blocks. Both are impressive in their own way. The AGC did more with less because it had to. Our games do less with more because they can. So the next time you're building a Minecraft house or running away from a creeper, take a moment to appreciate the technological miracle happening inside your computer. Because whether it's landing on the moon or building virtual worlds, it's all about using the tools of today to imagine the crazy things that are possible tomorrow.